My name is Samuel James Price, professional crypto trader, and every single week on Friday, I want to give you an insight into the market. I want to talk about Bitcoin, the DXY, the total market cap, and Bitcoin dominance to give you a little package of what I see happening into the week ahead. Also go back to what I said last week and see where we stand. Let's break it down. So Bitcoin on the weekly. Let's talk about Bitcoin on the weekly and look at the weekly chart. So I talked about this diagonal trend line on the daily and how important it was. See? Resistance, resistance. We just had to hold it. I'm very bullish on the daily time frame. That has not changed since last week. I'm still there. Since the last few days that we've looked at this and I projected this idea, so far my projection is playing out. We are going sideways. We are continuing in the manner in which I believed we would. My measured move is taking us the length of this pole, friends, all the way to the upside here on a slant to about $38,000. That's where I'm looking at for Bitcoin. Obviously, this was a trade that we've already kind of talked about. The idea was to buy the bottom of the channel when the last time the 4 hours overbought. That is in the money now, right? And the stop loss just below your previous low. Like, you don't have to recreate the wheel here and go too crazy. It's a 4.58 risk reward ratio. That means you can risk 8% to gain 40%. Really nice move. I like how this looks on the daily. Now, the weekly is a little high. Some would say you're a little overbought on the weekly. What do you say to that, lifer? Well, I said, the last time we had an anomalic move that was huge to the upside, the weekly was overbought, and we still got a pretty big move. With banks collapsing, a lot of stuff going on, it's pretty interesting to me to see what's going on. So I'm sticking to this daily right now. But look, even the weekly candle was a bullish hammer in my humble opinion. We came up, a little bit of indecision, but more wicks to the upside, and now we're doing the same thing here. This weekly candle closes in 2 nights on Sunday night, which I'll go over. And when this weekly candle closes above these two, that is going to be a very bullish sign. We also had we also had a death cross, but it really didn't matter. In my opinion, it's more like we're getting everything pushed together. Sorry to misspeak there. Everything is getting pushed together. It's been a long day. We're doing this at the afternoon, but everything gets really tight. And when moving averages get tight, expect to move to the upside, okay? Especially after a long consolidation. Another thing I'm looking at is the 3-day chart. The 3-day chart really desperately wants to pump up to the 200 SMA. That will give us our next resistance point somewhere at about 32,005. Looks like we're going to hit that and then maybe have to come back down to 28, 29, or 30 or something like that. But as long as this upper trend line holds, it's very likely we make our move up to about this region at $32,500, $33,000. So that's Bitcoin on the weekly, still doing well. I showed you the 3-day and the daily too as well. But yeah, still doing great. We're showing signs of life. This weekly candle was amazing. One of the biggest ones we ever saw, and we got back above 25K. We hadn't had a candle close above 25,000 since basically December 20th of 2021, or December 21st of 2020. I mean, it's been a long time since Bitcoin's been back above, close the green candle above the zone since we dropped to the downside. So it's a really good sign for Bitcoin. So I like what I'm seeing for Bitcoin. Everything is going. If you're looking for a trade or you're looking for an idea, again, I'm not a financial advisor, but the trade that I'm looking at is this. This is an ascending triangle continuing to the upside with a beautiful measured move to about 38,000. Stop loss below that $25,000 region in case it loses. If it loses this trend line, we will drop down here, and there's a chance you could go to here and here. I'm not saying we can never go back to these lows. What I am saying is as long as we stay above this line, we're going to be in some pretty good shape. Let's take a look at the total market cap in all of cryptocurrency. This number is also big. We want to see what levels we need to hold and where we stand. I see this giant inverted head and shoulder, which suggests that we break to the upside on the daily. That would bring us to $1.47 trillion and get a big move. This is a 68% chance of a break to the upside. And again, this doesn't have the diagonal trend that Bitcoin has, but once it gets above it, that's like a bump and run or a bump and pump. We get back above this, we will easily pump back to the upside. I want to see if the 200 is out there too. Look, the 200 would be the outlier. The moving averages would pump all the way up here on the total market cap. So this is also predicting that the total market cap, based on the TA, will break us up to $1.45 trillion. Let's jump on into the dollar index. If you remember correctly, you've been with me. I've been calling tops on the dollar ever since we kind of maxed out here. And let's zoom on in. Right here, I called this top. Now I'm looking at this shoulder, head and shoulder. I grabbed a fractal from here, threw it down here. I'm expecting the dollar to continue to the downside. Slight falling wedge. We do have a bit of a support zone here that we're bouncing off of, this green area. Resistance, resistance, bounce. I'd like to see the dollar break this. If it does, we will fall to the downside pretty nicely. We look at the weekly for the dollar, and it is very overbought and pushing down, suggesting that more pain is coming. If I remove this head and shoulder, where there was two there, if If I remove that head and shoulder just for a second to look at price action, you can see it was a rising wedge breaking to the downside. To me, it says it should at least come here to this level of this falling wedge and come down. So we want to see the dollar fall down. That would also help propel Bitcoin to the upside. So we're watching this closely with this fractal. Prediction is the dollar comes back down to 92 and loses the dollar region. It's pretty intense, right? So yeah, I mean, this is amazing what we're seeing here for the dollar. And last but not least, I see even just in the short term for tonight, if you're just looking for a trade, I just kind of picked up on this idea, a little bit of an inverted head and shoulder, a little bit of an inverted head and shoulder here. Could we get a move to the upside? Looking somewhat bullish, just something to keep your eye on as we kind of lead on in. And last thing I want to talk about is Bitcoin dominance. I just want to make this a nice, quick update for you. Bitcoin dominance looking bullish, all right? Pumped. But look, these are the ranges that it's in. When it has come down, alt season. Can we get an alt season? To me, I feel like a few more banks will collapse, and I think we're going to, I believe the charts convey, not what I think or feel, but what the charts convey is we will get one more push to the upside here for Bitcoin dominance, and then we may get that fall back. And then it might be a really good altcoin season, but it looking like we could get a pretty big pump up here. So I would watch my altcoins and be easy. Look at the daily. When the daily is this low, last time we were there, huge move for Bitcoin. Last time here, huge move for Bitcoin, even at least a pretty big move for Bitcoin. So this is also predicting a possibly large move for Bitcoin. Then the RSI will get pretty high, and we will eventually get some bearish div on that, and the altcoins could have their day. But that's Bitcoin, the total market cap, the DXY, and Bitcoin dominance, all for you at the end of the week. And wait for me to be back with the same type of update every single Friday. I can't wait to do this. No, I go live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday nights at 8 p.m. And I can't wait to see you on my next live stream. Live streaming is my thing. I absolutely love it, and you will too. Also, join my Discord or jump into Twitter. Find me all over the internet and have a blast. Sam Price, the Crypto Lifer. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you on the next video.